Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Jared Powley's Fragrance Reviews. Tonight we're going to be looking up somewhat of a controversial and divided fragrance, a very love-hate fragrance among the fragrance people out there. And this scent is known as Touch for Men by Fred Hayman. So this came out in 1995, and this is an EDT, eau de toilette concentration, and this is classified as an oriental spicy fragrance. So this is a very inexpensive fragrance, but the bottle I have is at least 15 years old. So when I read comments online about this fragrance being too vintage or too so-called pissy, I'm not sure which formulation they have because I do not get any of those notes. So again, this is a love-hate amongst people. People that seem to dislike this fragrance dislike vintage fragrances, and the people that love this fragrance love the vintage fragrances, in particular Brut. So this fragrance does smell like the original Brut Fabergé. So many people are going to ask, who is Fred Hayman? And he is the founder of Giorgio Beverly Hills. So he is known as Mr. Beverly Hills, the man of Rodeo Drive. And he started his ultra luxury store in 1961. He was in fact the first business to have a luxury store in 1961 on Rodeo Drive. And he has one of the most, he's now passed away, but he has one of the most exclusive clientele out of any stores in the world. So he is definitely someone that is high up the ladder in the fashion and fragrance world. Fred Hayman's fragrances don't get like in what we can buy in department stores. They're not overly expensive. There are many different selections for men and women, but I do think in the actual department store there are some pretty spectacular fragrances that possibly are thousands of dollars per bottle. I think I've seen a video on it at one time. So like I said, this is often compared to Brut Fabergé, but I would say Brut has more of an antiseptic barbershop aftershave feel. This one has a bit of a floral vibe, a little bit sweeter. It's different, but it still has that lavender barbershop base. So here is the bottle, pretty simple bottle. You can now spray it in the back of my wrist. So initially you do get the Brut feel to it. It's fresh, you get lavender, and it's a definite barbershop style of fragrance. But at this point, I find this mixture of lavender and the spices starts to become a little bit sweeter, a little bit softer, more cosmetic and powdery in touch versus Brut. I think this is where it starts to divide. The base is still the same of the lavender, but I think this one starts to go a little, like I said, more powdery, cosmetic. And I think it's warmer. So later on, this fragrance becomes, I would say, a little more ambery, vanilla, still have the warm spice. It's possibly even a little bit creamy, powdery, and it still has that lavender barbershop base. But I would say with Brut, it heads off in a direction that isn't as cosmetic or isn't as powdery. So I think that's the main difference. But I mean, it's the differences are there, but they're not enormous differences. So if you like Brut by Fabergé, this may be a substitute that I think is closer to the original Brut than the modern day aftershave or EDT, whatever they have in the department store, which they have slightly changed and watered down. So the note breakdown for this is only 3 notes: amber, lavender, and spices. But within spices, there can be many, many different spices, and they could range wildly. But I would say the simple note breakdown, I would say there are other notes, possibly a floral note here and there, some more spices, maybe some vanilla some notes of those accords. So performance on this one, I got very good performance, about 5 to 6 hours. It's great off the close. I would say this is a morning fragrance, something that gives you that robust feel to get moving, that solidifies your body and your senses. It's not something that you would necessarily wear on a date. I think it has a very straightforward, professional, formal feel to it. It's mature, it's vintage, it's classy, and I think it's for an older, more of a professional gentleman. I don't know if the young guys would like to pull this off. If you did, you would definitely be remembered for wearing it, because this is significantly different than any of the modern day fragrances. So I could see how people are split on this fragrance. Me personally, I love this fragrance, and for the price, I think it's absolutely spectacular. And it has, like I said, it has that barbershop, a little bit of an oily feel, and it's definitely close to a Brut by a Fabergé. So I would give this one 2 thumbs up. I think it's a real winner for my taste. But if you're not into the more of the vintage style, it may not be for you. So give it a try, give it a sample. It's not going to burn a hole in your wallet, because it's not overly expensive. So if you like this video, please hit the like button, the subscribe button, the notification bell. Any comments or questions you have, leave them down below, and I'll always get back to you. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.